Well, David, our big concern right now is flooding, not only on the coast but inland. We have our rivers here that are swelling over their banks. We have flooding inland already, and we have over 250 road closures already in New Jersey, more than 15,000 people in 45 different shelters, and that number is climbing. And we have over 500,000 people without power. And so what we're transitioning now towards is dealing with the flooding and the aftermath. The good news is that we got 1 million people off the Jersey Shore in 24 hours. And I think we would have had significant loss of life if we hadn't done that.
Talk about that decision. You know, there's a lot of lessons learned from past disasters like a Hurricane Katrina, even the big storm earlier this year in the Northeast, in the New York City area. What triggered it for you that said, you know what, conditions can change, forecasts can change, but I'm going to be very deliberate in saying you got to get off of the coast, no question about it. It's got to be mandatory.
Well, David, first thing is that I think your #1 goal as a governor in this situation is the saving of human life. Everything else is secondary. And so once we saw that the meteorologists, National Weather Service, were really focusing in on a track that was going to have the hurricane hit where it did today on the Jersey Shore, it was my call that we just were not going to have people on those barrier islands on the coastline, because if there was significant destruction, we'd have significant loss of life. And so, those are never easy calls to make, but if you prioritize things the way we have, which is saving human life is the most important thing, then the rest of the decision was relatively easy.
Governor, as you know, you just heard from Bill Cairns, this is downgraded to a tropical storm. There's going to be that instinct on the part of a lot of people in your state to say, okay, well, it looks like the worst is over. Let me go back and see what's the situation on the coast, in my home, in my area. You'd like to caution people against doing that right now.
Absolutely, David. The storm is still covering half of our state as we speak right now. And so I want folks to stay inside their homes. Stay inside their homes until it's already cleared. We have downed power wires all over the place. We have flooding of streets, 250 roads already closed, and that number is climbing. And the one real problem that we've had this morning is one woman who went out in her car. She got caught in some flash flooding, and she was carried down river now and is still missing. Those are the kind of things that can happen. Everyone will be fine if we stay in our homes, we let the storm pass, and then we wait to hear an assessment for people when they can go back out. But right now, I want to make sure that we have down power wires dealt with. We don't have people getting electrocuted. We don't have those other issues that will just be tragic if we've got through this storm and then lose life because we're careless on the back end. So I'm asking people in New Jersey, as subtly as I do, David, please stay home.
Safety first, as you've repeated over and over again, there will be a morning after kind of damage assessment. And this is going to be a big story, isn't it, Governor, up and down the seaboard? We already have local municipalities and states being so hard hit in this economy. What kind of cost damage estimates are you expecting at this early point?
Now listen, I got to imagine that the damage estimates are going to be in the billions of dollars, David, if not the tens of billions of dollars. We're going to start later this afternoon as soon as the storm clears. I'm going to personally go and start making assessments of the coastline and see what the damages are like there. And at the same time, we need to deal with this inland flooding, which may not completely subside in New Jersey until Tuesday on some of our rivers. So the damage assessment is going to be a rolling one. The coastline will be the first we'll be able to judge, but then inland we're going to have a lot of damage too from these river floodings.
Any lessons you take away? I mean, this has been an extraordinary week, and not only for your state and this storm, but also an earthquake. As a Los Angeles guy, I was not as freaked out about that, but now as an Easterner I was. If you look at that and the coordination between a big state like yours and the federal government, are there lessons you take away from this week? Jobs well done, things that you can improve on?
Well, certainly we're going to have an after-action, program to look at what we could do better. I know there's always things that we could have done better, but what I'm proud of is that we're coordinating well with the federal government. We have FEMA folks right here on site in the Operations and Intelligence Center that you see here. They're working incredibly hard in providing things to us that we need. Our own team at the state level has put aside everything except for saying, listen, how do we best serve making sure the human life is saved and then trying to minimize property damage. So we'll do an after-action report, David, and take a look at it. I know there's always things we could do better, but here's the key. The key is that we've tried to keep people fully informed, be fully transparent, to lower fear and raise confidence. And that's what we're trying to do, and I think that's the best thing a governor can do in this circumstance.
Governor Chris Christie in New Jersey, you've been going 24/7 in the last several days up until this storm. We really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.